Hey, welcome to another edition of Hitting Buckets, our golf podcast where we cover the latest stories in golf and try our best at picking some winners. I'm going to quickly address last week's tournaments before we move on to bigger and better things. On to the second major of the year, the PGA Championship. But first, like I said, congrats to the KH Lee winning at the Byron Nelson, and another congrats over to the Euro Tour, the 48-year-old Richard Bland with his first win, 477 starts into his career. So congrats to those two guys. Like I said, not going to spend a lot of time on last week's tournament. So Ryan, how's it going? Tell us what you thought of last week, and then we'll quickly move on to bigger and better things.
What's going on, Scott? Yeah. Congrats to Richard Bland. Old Dick Bland is a relative, a friend of the pod, Nick Bland. So big shout out to him. I'm feeling good about it's major week. I got my Austin Matthews jersey on for the Leafs run for the Cup that begins on Thursday too. So let's get last week behind us. I really don't enjoy these Birdie Fest tournaments. So I made a note to remember that next time one of these come along. It just really brings every golfer into play, and it makes it hard to break down a field and identify like these key things that we're looking for on some of the harder courses. And at the end of the day, these guys are professional golfers. So if you throw them in a municipal type course, anyone can get hot over 4 rounds. So I hit some of my prop bets, and that'll keep me going this week. And congrats, like you said, to KH Lee. I think he's only the fifth first time winner on tour this year, so that's kind of crazy. It's pretty hard to win, which is why you're going to see my picks coming up. I'm taking guys who are proven winners. I don't see a first time winner on the PGA Tour taking down this beast of a course this week.
All right, save those thoughts. But yeah, let's do it. Let's move right into the PGA Championship, the major, the second major of the year, formerly the fourth major of the year, but it got moved up the schedule. Last year it was the first major of the year, but that was obviously due to unforeseen circumstances. But personally, I think now it's perfectly slotted as the second major. It to me is the fourth of the four, like if you're going to rate them. So the analogy I use is when you're building your relay teams and you're putting your slowest runner, he usually went second on your relay team. So we got the PGA Championship perfectly slotted second, right in between the Masters and the US Open. But those will be the last bad words I say about the PGA Championship, because I'm excited for this tournament. It should be really good. It's at, I'll go right to the course over at Kiowa Island, the Ocean Course, which hosted the PGA Championship in 2012. And Rory McIlroy happened to win it that year, and I believe it was by 8 strokes. So a big win for Rory in his first PGA Championship. Rory coming in hot, winning his last tournament played. So to me, that's obviously the big story, the betting favorite, Rory course history here, which I don't think is a big deal considering it was 9 years ago. But those are my initial thoughts on the tournament. I'm going to throw it over to you, Ryan. Tell me some of your biggest storylines, biggest things you're thinking about heading into this major championship.
Yeah, I mean, major week's always exciting. And we're starting a nice stretch of golf here. We got in the next 4 weeks, we got some challenging courses, Colonial, Murphy Village, and then back to Torrey Pines for the US Open. So, but this week at Kiowa, I think we're set to see the longest major course ever. And that's saying a lot since there's been over 450 majors played so far. And as you can see, some of the guys there in your fancy graphic, this is one of the strongest fields of the season so far. At this course, the index rating 79, so it's ranked as one of, if not the hardest courses on the PGA Tour. A links style course, as you can see there. It's a lot of the experts are saying out there that a lot of the Euro players are gonna be used to playing courses like this. And with these courses, you see some of the coastal courses, you get this past palm grass that on the greens that it's a thicker grass that can hold up to the elements. So they say it's easier putting surface. So that could bring a few more guys into play. Most people are going to be focusing on bombers. I don't necessarily think that that's going to be the end all be all here. Fairways are somewhat narrow, but the rough isn't super penal. So you're not going to see things like you saw at Wingfoot, for example. Driving is going to be important, no doubt, but I think it's still a second shot course. And with the distance of these holes, I think you're going to have to be good with your long irons. So I know what guys I got circled here, but what are you thinking this week, bud?
Yeah, I really liked one of the stats you kind of hit on is the putting, but that will lead me into, I'll do two picks first, and I'll lead into my first one. First pick is Justin Thomas, 17 to 1. I major tournament like this, I had to take one of the big dogs as one of my outright picks. Whether you think there's a big three, big five, big six, there's arguments for who you'd put in the upper echelon. Whether you go 3, 5, or 6, I think JT is in that group. I think he's going for the number one golfer in the world potentially if he could take this tournament home. So the stat I was referencing was the putting. JT's form, if you look at his finishes recently, it's been 25, 26, and like an 18, but it's his putting holding him back. So sometimes you hear things to make your argument, and maybe with his putting on these new greens, I'm using that to make my JT argument, throwing his recent putting out the window because he's an elite ball striker. You look at any stats, tee to green or approach, JT's right near the top. He scares me when I'm not on him. So I got to give a little credit to a friend of the pod, my brother Jeff, who kind of helped sway me in this direction. And once I had that final little push, I'm all in. Justin Thomas is my first pick, my big dog at 17 to 1. Coincidentally, another weakness that I've noticed of my second pick is the putting. My guy, Victor Hovland, who I got at 29 to 1. I honestly think Victor should have won Wells Fargo 2 weeks ago. I might be a little biased, but I just saw so many 6 to 10 foot putts that he missed, and he could have been in position to win that tournament. And he's just waiting to burst onto the scene here and have a big win. So one thing I don't like is a lot of people are on him this week. That does make me nervous. You ever watch those football pregame shows where the whole panel picks the same team and they're like, oh, they're definitely losing? I'm a little worried about that type of vibe with Victor, but I just love the way he's golfing, his back-to-back third place finishes, the way he strikes the ball. Again, throwing the putting stats out the window. And on his 2 wins, he did putt on the greens. I can't even pronounce them or remember what they're called, but you mentioned the type of greens. Say them again for me.
Pass Palm.
Paspalum. He won in Mexico and Puerto Rico with the same similar greens. So maybe the putting will turn around for him. So my first two, JT and Vic. Ryan, give me a couple picks.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with those two. And like you said, I'm always nervous when I don't play JT. So that'll be me this week. First pick for me is John Rahm at 15 to 1. So I'm real happy that Rahm didn't win last week because I had him penciled in here for a while now. And that happened to me at the Masters with Spieth. I had him in there to win, and then he went and won the week before, and it's almost impossible to win 2 weeks in a row on the tour here. But I like the way Rahm played last week. He looks good coming in here. Leads the tour with 9 top 10 so far this season. He's always in the hunt. He's ranked 4th overall in strokes gained, tee to green. So that's going to be big here. And you really need a complete game to contend here. So I think he's going to be on the leaderboard come Sunday. I mean, at the end of the day, he's one of the best golfers in the world without a major championship. And I think he's got a real chance to kind of get off that list this week. So yeah, Rahm's my first pick. My second pick, for a lot of the same reasons, I'm playing John Rahm. I'm playing Xander Schauffele. So I get Xander at 23 to 1. Even though I'm still having nightmares about the shot on 16 at the Masters at Augusta, where I thought I was getting that Xander major victory. I'm hoping he can right the ship here. Like I said, I don't think anybody has more of a complete game than him. He's got 10 top 20s and 13 career major starts. 5 of those are top 5s. Ranks 2nd in strokes gained total for the season so far this year. He really just covers all the bases you need to contend at a course like this. A lot of the greens are elevated, and they won't be easy to hit. But I think he's got the short game prowess to avoid bogeys here. So that's going to be very important. So, I mean, these are two of the best guys in the world that don't have a major. And my bet is one of them leaves with the trophy this weekend.
Okay. So 2 more each. I'll go right into it. My third one, personal favorite of mine, Cam Smith, 41-1. We talked about the windy conditions and perhaps the Euro guys. I will throw that along with the Aussie guys as well. Well, you'll see I'm playing a couple Aussies this week in certain bets. So Cam Smith's mullet rocking in the wind, contending on Sunday. That's what I like to see. But reason why I like Cam, he's been so consistent since the Genesis. He hasn't really been outside of 21st in any tournament he's been in. He has I'm not counting the match play. He won recently with Leishman at the team event. He's just been solid basically all year long. I just the way he hits the ball, he can get hot putting. Really don't have a lot other than consistency. I'm playing the Aussie card, and he's one of my guys from last week. I'm going hard on my guys this week with Vic and Cam, so I'm going Cam at 41-1. The next one of my last outright, I'm taking Brooks Koepka at 41-1. Yes, I'm scared of Brooks' knee. Yes, I know he's not 100%, but there's almost certain things that are rules, and Brooks north of 40 is almost a rule. You have to play it. So I like what I'm seeing from him this week. He's definitely active on social media. He's putting himself out there. So I see the swagger, the confidence is there. So, I mean, Brooks is, when we talk about what I said earlier, echelon, top 5 guys, top 6 guys, if Brooks 100% healthy at a major, he's definitely in that group. There's no doubting that. So, I mean, yeah, he's not 100% healthy, but you're getting a guy who could be 12, 13-1. So at 41-1, even at 75%, I'm putting my flyer on Brooks and that he perhaps can contend. And once he's close near the end, then his championship medal is going to kick in. So Cam and Brooks, those are my third and fourth outright picks.
All right, for my last two here. First, I got Daniel Berger. So I got him at 34-1. Right now, there's 2 guys on tour averaging 2 strokes game per round this season. That's Jordan Spieth and Daniel Berger. So he ranks top 20 in total driving, in greens and regulation, and strokes game putting so far this year. He's coming off T3 at the Abercrombie Junior Invitational last week, and he fired a final round 64. So love the form, and he has really high ball flight too. That's going to allow him to attack these raised greens here at Kiowa. So I like his chances to be straight vibing come Sunday. And then my fourth pick, I got Tyrrell Hatton at 56-1. So Hatton ranks inside the top 10 in strokes gained approach this season. He's one of the best ball strikers on tour and very good with his long irons. So that's going to play a big part for sure on this course. He's had a little bit of an up and down season, but he shot a final round 68 at the Masters. That was very promising. He's a proven winner. He's ranked inside top 10 in the world. And there's a lot of talk this weekend about the wind. So he's used to playing in the wind, couple that with the link style course. And I think it's a good fit for a guy who's won big tournaments all over the world.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick recap of our picks. One thing I do want to emphasize on what we both kind of did here. Once I bring this up here. It is a major, and I think Ryan and I looked at similar stat. All of our 8 guys are inside the world top 30. You don't really think a guy outside of the top 30 is going to win this major. So, you look at our 8 guys, they're all there. They're kind of spread all over for odds, but quickly, here's my 4 for the outrights. Like I said, we got Justin Thomas, Victor Hovland, Cameron Smith, Brooks Koepka. And go over to Ryan's picks. Get rid of us. So John Rahm, Xander Schauffele, Daniel Berger, Tyrrell Hatton. One thing I want to point out of Ryan's pick, Tyrrell Hatton at 56-1. He's ranked 9th in the world. So that kind of jumped out to me. 56-1, 9th in the world. Not bad odds there.
Good number.
So one thing we're doing this week, we're sticking to all PGA picks. It's a It's major week, so we're just sticking to PGA. We're going to do 4 more picks each, non-outrights. But Ryan, I'm going to throw it back to you to lead off again. Give me 2 picks, not outrights, that you're playing this weekend.
All right, so the first one on my picks is going to be Rory McIlroy for a top 5 finish. So that's paying $350. So I'm still riding high from his win at Quail Hollow. Like I said, this is a stretch of golf that he's circled for the whole season, I'm sure. You mentioned off the top, he's the runaway winner here in 2012. And we saw 2 weeks ago how comfortable he felt on a course that he had great history on. He's one of those guys that really thrives off the crowd. And I think he's going to take that with him into Sunday and be right up there on the leaderboard. So it's hard to play him at 10-1. He's the favorite to win this, but I wanted to get a piece of it somehow. And like I said, it's Rory season. So the second pick I got, same kind of thing. It's hard to play at the number that he's at right now, but there's nobody hotter in golf right now than Jordan Spieth. So I'm taking him for a top 10 here. It's paying $250. Since the start of 2021, he's been the best player on tour. There's no 2 ways about it. So he's gaining more than 2 strokes around on the field. He's got 8 top 15s in his last 9 starts. There's 2 guys that just, I'm not surprised when they hit big bomb putts. And Spieth's one of those guys that keep doing it every week, it seems. The other guys, Patrick Reed, those guys got the short games to contend. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see him hanging around on Sunday too. But I think Spieth's a lock for a top 10 here. And this is easily going to be the best chance he's had yet to complete the career Grand Slam. So I'm going to be on board if it happens this week.
Okay, by the end of our little podcast here, there's gonna be a few big names upset with us, but that's okay. Can't play everyone. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 quick top 20s here. Going down the board just a little bit, not too far, but Mark Leishman, top 20, 3.4 to 1, and Joaquin Niemann, top 20, 3.5 to 1. What's funny about the first thing I'm gonna say about these guys kind of contradicts what you said earlier about the high ball flight to get out of those elevated greens. These guys have low ball flights to stay away from those treacherous winds. So either or, we're playing, can work your advantage either way. But that's just kind of made me laugh when you said that, because those were 2 notes I have on Leishman and Niemann are the low ball flight for the wind. But with Leishman, logic's like Cam, they won together, recent win. Masters, he was good. He's 21st recently, so good form recently. Aussie guy, low ball flight. So taking Leishman. Niemann, decided to go with him because top 20. I like his game. He's young. He's a rising star. But now that Rahm recently missed a cut, Niemann's got the longest made cut streak in the PGA Tour. So just make that cut, and he's in play for that top 20. And I'm going to do my third one now and save my last one to the very end. But my third one is Bubba Watson, top lefty, 4 to 1. His form's pretty good recently. He's got
Ego.
He's got an 18th, a 13th, and a 26th his last 3 times out. He actually, and I know I said course history doesn't mean that much here, but in 2012 he was tied for 11th here. So I don't know, something stuck out about Bubba. So I'm taking Bubba 4 to 1 as my third play, but I'm saving my last one for last. Ryan, you do your last 2 before I finish off with a special prop bet.
Oh, okay. Okay. So for my third one, I'm going with Keegan Bradley for a top 20. That's paying $350. Just another week of me playing Keegan Bradley. So he won this tournament in 2011. He's having a great year. He's an elite ball striker. He's 5th in strokes gained, tee to green. He's got, I think it's 30. I think he has a top 30 finish in each of his last 6 tournaments. So he's just coming in hot, but the guy just can't close. So his putter is so bad. The good news here, I guess, is that he plays well on both these past palm greens and Pete Dye designs. So I mean, everything's pointing to a good week here for Keegan Bradley, but I'm hoping that at least he can finish in the top 20. And then my last play is going to be Brooks Koepka over Webb Simpson, and that's paying $1.95. So as we have uncovered, it's no secret of my Brooks man crush. Every tournament, as we get closer to tee off, I just talk myself into playing him again. I mean, he won this tournament back to back just 2 years ago. So I know the leg's a big question mark, but when a guy like this drifts to 50 to 1 now to win this week, it's just something you got to get in on. He missed the cut last week in the Birdie Fest, but he was crushing the driver. He gained 4.5 strokes putting. So if he gets his irons dialed in this week, not only is he going to beat Webb Simpson, but he might beat everybody.
Okay, so I brought up the quick summary of your quick plays here. Rory top 5, Jordan top 10, Brooks over Webb, love that one. Keegan Bradley top 20. Okay, so we go right to the summary and then my last pick. So there's Leishman 20, Bubba top lefty, Joaquin Niemann top 20. And then for my last pick, friend of the podcast, Connor Doyle. I'm on a heater on my nationality pick. So he told me you want another nationality pick. Well, I upped my game for a major championship. I'm doing a nationality Trixie. So I took top Asian, which is going to be Siwoo Kim at 5.25 to 1. South African, Charles Schwartzel at 5.5 to 1. And Englishman Matt Wallace at 9 to 1. So a parlay, which is part of the Trixie, will pay me 260 to 1 if I hit all three of those nationality plays. It's a Trixie because it's 4 times my wager. So if I hit 2 of any of those 3 combinations, I get those odds times. So I just need to hit 2 to win some money here. I hit all 3 of this Trixie, the Connor Doyle special, then it's 260 to 1 plus the 2s each. So it's a giant payout, and I'll thank Connor when I hit this big bet. But that's my major play. Charles Schwartzel, Matt Wallace, I already forgot his name, Siwoo Kim, be the best of your nation and help me win this nationality Trixie. Okay, one and done. This is Ryan's part of the pod because like I said, I'm already out of it. But good news is I did move up to 937th place out of 1,051 from 1,031. So the one and done, I'm sticking with Victor Hovland, but who cares who I'm picking? I'm out of it. Ryan, why are you taking Jon Rahm for one and done? And what place are you in right now in that competition?
Man, I just want to hear you say Trixie 5 more times.
Yeah, it's for Connor.
So for one and done this week, after Chalk Scotty Scheffler let me down last week, I'm going to need a bounce back. I guess the good news is I didn't lose any ground. None of the big boys really performed last week, so I'm still sitting at 12th out of 1,051. So this week's tough because I mentioned I don't see anyone outside of a top 30 winning this tournament. Realistically, I don't see anyone outside the top 20 winning this tournament. So I'm going with one of the most consistent guys in the world in Jon Rahm. So I mentioned already he's been in great form all year, aside from a few bad weeks when the little baby came. So I'm really hoping this week that he can harness that newfound dad strength and finally end this major drought and take one home for me.
Okay. Well, we're close to time, but I want to thank all our faithful listeners, and I encourage you to do what Connor did, throw out some requests, because I have no problem with my last bonus play, throwing a little something different out there. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to have more content for picks with what we've shown here. We got some bombs. We got some first round leader plays that Ryan's going to share. But yeah, so everyone that made a wager this week, good luck. I have faith that hitting buckets is hitting a winner this week. But everyone enjoy the PGA Championship, and hopefully next week we'll be celebrating a big victory. Ryan, talk to you later.
Later, Scott.